Right. 11 February 2021, and I'm joined by Mr. Den Moyo, Chairman of the MDC-T in the United States of America. How are you, sir?
I'm well, thank you, Mr. Kabangwe. How are you?
Very well, thank you. And how is your new year so far?
The new year has been hectic, as you know, with all the developments that are happening within the party. But on a personal note, everything is going fine. We're looking for a better 2021 compared to last year.
Okay, great. And I think let's go straight into this topic. You have issued a statement last week in which you said you do not recognize the presidency of recently elected MDC-T President Douglas Mwonzora. Can you take us through what you are saying and why you are saying this as you are part of the MDC-T?
Okay, I will start off by saying MDC as a party in its formation in 1999 was to be the alternative to ZANU-PF. It was formed so that the people of Zimbabwe can be given a better chance at living a better life. Prior to its formation, the founders set up guidelines on how this organization was going to operate. And these guidelines became the party's constitution. The party's constitution is very clear on a set of rules that need to be adhered to. And some of those rules pertain to the organizational structure of MDC, the organs of the party, the officers, and how the officers are elected, and what the functions are of the different organs of the party, starting from the ward, the branch, the ward, the district, the province, and then national. One of those rules in that constitution, as I stated, is about how officers are elected and how they get to be put into positions. We've had problems, numerous problems as MDC, starting from the time the late Mwonzora was alive, where we saw him deviating from that constitution, basically violated it by making unconstitutional appointments of Chamisa and Mudzuri as vice presidents. We contested this then. We told President Mwonzora that he was acting ultra-vires to the constitution. We reprimanded him as to the statutes on how a vice president, for that matter, because the constitution does not allow for two vice presidents, how a vice president in the party is elected through Congress and cannot be appointed by anyone according to our constitution. We saw the problems that came up out of that was Chamisa declared himself the president, and we ended up going to court, and the Supreme Court ruled that Chamisa's appointment in the first place as a vice president was unconstitutional, and therefore his ascension to power was unconstitutional. Fast forward, then the Supreme Court told us to go and have our extraordinary Congress. Fast forward, we had that Congress on December 27th. What we are saying is that Congress did not arise to the level that the Supreme Court ruling had adjudged. That Congress was shambolic, it was violent, it was chaotic. The voters' roll was manipulated. One side, people were beaten up there, as you noticed. Election agents were thrown out from the other candidates. So there is no way anyone in their right mind can recognize the legitimacy of that extraordinary Congress. So as MDC USA, which is a constituted organ of the party, we cannot allow that. we cannot say that we formed ANC as MDC as an alternative to ZANU-PF, and then we behave like ZANU-PF and not follow the rule of law. We don't follow the same laws that we set for ourselves. So as such, we cannot sit here and say we recognize the outcome of the Extraordinary Congress. Love Maduku, who is the party's lawyer, noted that there were discrepancies that occurred at that EOC, and that only a court of law can legitimize that Extraordinary Congress. Otherwise, in our eyes, as people who follow the Constitution, it is very difficult for us, for political expediency, to just accept the result. I think we need to get that resolved and rectified, where everybody can understand that that result is not acceptable.
Okay. Where is Dr. Khuphe now?
Dr. Khuphe, the last time I heard from her, she was recuperating from COVID, because she had been diagnosed as positive and did have symptoms and was not feeling well, and therefore she has not been doing any party business.
Okay. So what is your next move, and who do you represent? If Dr. Khuphe is not well, who do you represent?
I represent the party. I need to make things very clear. Our party is not about individuals. MDC-T is an organization. It is a party that has many members in it. There are some people who choose to follow a particular individual. That is not our case with us. We are constituted as an organ of the party, and I speak on behalf of MDC-T, and I speak on behalf of our province, MDC USA, which is recognized by the Constitution.
Okay, so who is the president according to you right now?
Right now, what I can say is that that position is disputed, because the ruling of the Supreme Court has not been fulfilled. The Supreme Court said, go and have an orderly extraordinary Congress to elect a new leader. At the time, Dr. Thokozani Khuphe was the acting president when that ruling was made, and therefore it goes to default that if that is not satisfied, if the Supreme Court ruling was not satisfied, then therefore it stands to say that at this present moment, we have a disputed presidency.
Okay, please explain that a bit more, because you are a branch of, or a province of the MDC-T. Are you not the only province that is disputing the presidency?
Well, we know that there are a lot of other provinces who have not come out, and I'm not going to speak for them here because they need to speak for themselves. But if you look again, which other province did you see congratulating Mwonzora as the new president? I haven't seen any in any of the MDC groups. I never saw any province coming out and congratulate. Maybe Marsh East, if I might say, is the only one that came out and congratulated Mwonzora as the new president of the party. So that speaks volumes to me that what we are seeing, the other provinces are seeing too. And I think one other thing you must understand, it is difficult for the people back home to be able to be vocal like us, because most of them, they will either work for the party or they have positions within the party that that they do not want to get messed up. We, on the other hand, are very much independent, because the party depends on us for most of the part to finance it, and therefore we should be able to speak our minds when things are not being done correctly. We should stand for constitutionalism. We should stand for the rule of law.
Okay, this was just an extraordinary Congress, and the General Congress is coming up very, very soon. Why not wait for the General Congress to rectify these problems?
But you see, that's the thing, Mr. Kambagwe. We can't keep compounding problems. We can't sweep things under the carpet. Right now, Douglas Mwonzora is consolidating his power. Right now, Mwonzora is telling himself that he was duly elected and therefore he's the president. He's going ahead even with unconstitutional appointments into the standing committee. Our constitution, once again, is very clear how members are appointed or elected into the standing committee. Only the deputies can be appointed by the president. The substantive leaders in the standing committee are elected according to our constitution. They're elected at an ordinary Congress. The extraordinary Congress' job was one job only, and that job was to elect a new president. It had nothing to do with that new president now exerting powers that he does not have. We still need Congress to be conducted so that all these issues related to National Standing Committee members can then be elected. We need to have Congresses right from the branch all the way to the province to be able to elect new leadership. Douglas Mwonzora cannot give himself powers that are not in the constitution.
Okay, so according to you, what should happen now?
I think we should sit down as a party and agree that a wrong was done at the Extraordinary Congress, and either we agree that things go back to where they were prior to Congress and we prepare for the regular Congress, or we agree that if the majority think that one thing for sure, we won't agree to compromising the principles of the party for expediency. The bottom line is that election that they held on the 27th at the HICC was a sham and did not rise to the level of an extraordinary Congress as ruled by the Supreme Court. And therefore, to us, that event is a non-event. It is null and void. And if that's the case, then that means we revert back to Dr. Khuphe being the acting president, and we start preparing for the ordinary Congress ASAP, because we don't want a power vacuum to be prolonged in the party.
Okay, but in your statement, you say that you're going to launch a legal challenge. What has taken you so long to launch a legal challenge?
Well, there are a number of factors. One, it's expensive to launch a legal challenge in Zimbabwe. Two, you have to have a buy-in from other like-minded people to say that we cannot allow this travesty to continue unchallenged. And three, with the issue of COVID-19, it is very difficult to get things moving quickly enough to make sure that things are done properly. Four, we were still looking at the opinion proffered by Professor Maduku about the Congress. We noticed that Mr. Maduku's opinion was very thin on what actually transpired at the Congress. It was more focused on whether the Congress could be stopped or not by Madam Khuphe, who we all know that she stopped that Congress midway when it was uncovered that there were gross irregularities taking place. So we had to weigh all those things before we could finally decide to move forward.
All right, Chairman, I want to stop you because I've got Mr. Paul Saungweme. He wants to talk to you right now. So is it fine for me to add him?
Sure, go ahead and add him.
All right, so I'm going to add Mr. Paul Saungweme here. He's one of the closest advisors of Senator Mwonzora. How are you, sir?
I'm okay, thanks.
Okay, we've got your chairman here from the United States. He is saying the processes that you followed were not up to the standards of the constitutional court ruling, and there is no president, there's a disputed president. What do you have to say?
Well, I'm gonna be very straightforward. I'm not interested in grasping his interviews. First of all, the USA Chairman Den Moyo is a very bitter person. He is not being realistic and is not telling the truth. I just want to answer 3 issues, 3 points he has raised. He says only Mashonaland East congratulated the president. That's not true. Almost every province did congratulate His Excellency, and it includes all the wings of the MDC, veterans, women's wing, the youth, Council of Elders, and various stakeholders who are part of the MDC did congratulate President Mwonzora. The second part, he is talking about the constitution which he does not know. He says that by default, Dr. Khuphe is the president, and I want him to be very clear because he's being used for wrong battles. Did he speak to Dr. Khuphe? Because as far as I know, Dr. Khuphe is the vice president of the MDC, and the Congress, the EOC is done. Is he speaking his opinion, or he is saying what Dr. Khuphe said? He needs to come clean on that.
Okay, so Chairman Moyo, you have heard the question. Are you speaking for Dr. Khuphe, or is that your position as the United States province?
We are speaking, this is our position as the province. We are not speaking on behalf of Dr. Khuphe. We don't know what her intentions are. We haven't heard whether she has accepted the outcome of the EOC, but we are talking of constitutional matters here. I don't know why Mr. Saungemwe is skating around the issue of constitutionalism with regards to what transpired on December 27. He should be clear and honest to the people of Zimbabwe, because I think the people of Zimbabwe are tired of being lied to by corrupt officials. The 27th December events did not rise to the level of a constitutional extraordinary Congress. We saw, not just heard, it was clear on videos. Even Dr. Khuphe herself was assaulted, and even up to today, the party has not done anything to arrest the individual that assaulted Dr. Khuphe. We saw very well that the voters' roll that was used at that extraordinary Congress was manipulated. It was not the voters' roll that was agreed upon. And therefore, as a constitution-abiding body of the MDC-T, we cannot stand aside and allow such gross unconstitutionalism to prevail. It is the same reason we ended up at the Supreme Court in the first place, where we got the ruling to hold an extraordinary Congress. It's because of the same way Chamisa tried to usurp power in a similar fashion, where he had a bogus National Council sit down and approve his ascension to the presidency of the MDC. We are saying no to that. We've been very vocal from the beginning, even during the time of Morgan Tsvangirai, that we do not accept unconstitutionalism in this party. And we're not going to start now for the sake of political expediency. If the EOC was conducted accordingly, we would not be having this conversation. And I have said this to Honorable Douglas Mwonzora himself, that if the EOC had been conducted accordingly, we would have welcomed his leadership, just like we would anyone who's elected properly.
Can I chip in?
Yes.
Right. When you say the EOC was not conducted accordingly, what do you mean? Are you saying the independent commission that was appointed the president was not aware. I want you to bring you there. I want to be as open as possible. Until the 27th of December, the acting president of the MDC-T was Dr. Khuphe. She was in charge of the EOC. It was not President Mwonzora who was in charge. It was not President Mwonzora who organized the event. The acting president was Dr. Khuphe. She ceased to be president after the announcement of the results. She was in control. She organized it. She appointed the commission. So how then do you say it was fraudulent? And you're talking about the voters' roll, which you say it was manipulated. Can you give the public the correct voters' roll, which you have, that was not manipulated? I want people who use facts, not rhetoric. Don't just come to the media to try and get attention, sympathy, and all those things. You are failing to accept reality. You are being divisive. You are destroying the movement. That's my fact. The other way is that if you were being honest, we have proper channels in the party. You have got a formal way of raising grievances. You should do that. Use party channels to raise your concerns. I'm very glad because Dr. Mwonzora is a very tolerant leader. I have worked under him. I listened to him so many times. He takes criticism. If you have spoken to him and he has given you an ear, continue to do that. You are trying to achieve, you are simply, let me be very honest, you are being used to try and score cheap political effects. It's called denial stage. You are not accepting reality. And I can understand you are still grieving. Those are stages of a grieving person, exactly the way you have been taught by Trump in the USA. I'm glad you are MDC-T USA. And Hamburger, you must have seen what happened after Trump lost. You can understand. He's surrounded by Republicans, I guess.
Okay, so Mr. Sangweme and Chairman Den Moyo, I think we can see that both sides, we could have this discussion for the whole night. There is a deep division for both sides. The chairman of the United States, he has issued the statement. It's been December since he's been saying the same thing. Similarly, the MDC-T has been going forward saying Senator Mwonzora was elected. What do you suggest as a solution from your side, Mr. Sangweme?
Well, let me be very honest and straightforward. Den Moyo, you had the mess of the president. You have to follow party protocol. Anytime the president can change you or can replace you, anytime he so wishes. He is your leader, whether you like it or not. I appreciate your views and I've taken them into consideration, but can you kindly follow party channels? And the earlier we accept reality, the better, because there's no going back. EOC is done. Everybody has congratulated the president. We are looking forward to the main event, the National Congress. And I can rest assure you, my president, President Mwonzora, will win the National Congress any day, any time, any minute, because he's the most popular leader we have now in Zimbabwe.
Right. Mr. Sangweme, I think the point is made, and I think you have said it all. Is it possible for us to ask you to leave the studio so that we can conclude with Chairman Den?
Before I leave, I just wanted to remind you one thing. I want to say one thing before I leave.
I also want to answer some of his allegations.
Okay, it's fine. Mr. Sangweme, go first, and then Mr. Chairman Moyo would answer.
Okay, I do not have a single allegation. I'm responding to your rhetoric because they are not facts. You have not given a single fact. You said Dr. Khuphe by default is still the president. And I asked you a question to say, are you speaking on your behalf? You said no. So you are speaking on your behalf. In your own home, I do accept Dr. Khuphe is the president. I have a lot of respect for Dr. Khuphe, but kindly allow her to use her spokesperson, not you, because you are speaking, you are dividing, you are causing an unnecessary tension between President Mwonzora and his vice president. That's number one. Number two, you have said that the MDC-USA is responsible for funding the MDC-T. No, that's not a fact. I'm not aware. The MDC gets funded worldwide. We have members worldwide. I'm not sure that you are the one funding the MDC. You funded an individual's campaign, not the MDC-T. And I want to be very clear with that one. You funded an individual, not the party. I have not seen any record of your monies or anything in the party where you funded the party program. I'm yet to see. We all make our subscriptions on and we don't brag about it in the media. Allow the people you give the money to say thank you. Don't go into the media and say, I'm funding the party as MDC. That's not right. The second thing is that you are looking for attention in a wrong way. I do have much respect of you. The media will destroy you. We all love the media. And I'm a very good friend of Hamburg. Let me be very honest with you. I always avoid the media because I don't want to be misquoted. Right now, the headline was saying that Dr. Khuphe does not recognize the president. Now I'm asking you, are you speaking on behalf of the president? You are saying no. So where did you get the information that Dr. Khuphe does not recognize the president? I can safely tell you that Dr. Khuphe's spokesperson, who is also my brother, Pugen, attends the standing committee meetings chaired by our president.
Well, so, I don't know. Well, I don't know where you are getting this thing about the headline saying Dr. Khuphe does not recognize Mwonzora, because that was never my headline. I have said this from the onset. I do not. There's the headline right there. It says we do not recognize Mwonzora. Where does it say Dr. Khuphe? Your problem, Sangwema, is that you want to associate me with Dr. Khuphe even where it's not necessary. I am speaking here on behalf of MDC-T. I am not speaking on behalf of Dr. Khuphe. I've made that clear from the onset that I am not speaking on behalf of Dr. Khuphe. So I would like to point out to you, first and foremost, you accused me of being used. You accused me of being used without stating exactly who you are referring to. I am a man of my own. I do not get used by anyone. None of you there can afford me to even use me. I cannot be used, and I refuse to be used. Secondly, you mentioned the issue about Dr. Khuphe being the acting president when towards the EOC. Yes, I agree with that. But did she have all the controlling powers? No. I'll give you an example. 6 million was taken 2 days before Congress, and it was Douglas Mwonzora who authorized that 6 million. And you can't lie about this because I was there in Zimbabwe. I was there with him, Douglas Mwonzora, asking him what has happened to the 6 million. And he was telling me, no, Mashagata is the one who took that money. It's going to be given back to Chief Ndlovu. Up to now, Chief Ndlovu was never given that money. And instead, now Mashagata is the acting treasurer general. Again, going against the constitution. You tell me where it says that the president can appoint a treasurer general. It is not in our constitution. So you go on to say that we should address these things, these issues using proper channels. Were we not in the National Council meeting on February the 6th, where we raised these issues, where we raised these motions, and they were brushed off? They totally refused to address the motions to a point that our secretary was ejected from that meeting. So you tell me then, which other proper channel is there that supersedes the National Council? So you people are so used to pushing people around, and you are so used to having yes men who agree to everything, even if it's nonsensical, and they just accept it because it's coming from the higher powers, the powers that be. Let me tell you, as MDC-USA, unless you fire the whole province, we are not going to accept anything that is unconstitutional. You will have these fights each and every time you conduct any unconstitutional activity. We are not going to lie down and accept that for political expediency, we should just continue. This is the very reason we joined the party, because this is the party of excellence. We should be different from ZANU-PF. We should obey the rule of law, and we can't be seen to be sweeping things under the carpet. So if you think there is another channel, if you're saying there's another channel where this should be addressed, please share me what that channel is. Share with me what that channel is, because to me, the National Council is where these things should have been addressed.
Chairman Dan, I just wanted to mention something. I've got Pugeni coming here on Saturday to talk about another issue. So we'll probably have to continue and hear what Dr. Khuphe really thinks. Because you said you're not talking for Dr. Khuphe. But I think your point is heard. And also, Mr. Sangweme's point is heard.
I want to answer. I need to answer him. He says he's speaking on behalf of the MDC-T. No, correction. The MDC spokesperson, the party spokesperson, is elected by the president. You are speaking on your own behalf. Party protocol does not allow you to speak without permission. You should have communicated with the Secretary General before you go on a public platform. That's number one. You have asked me where you should report. You are a chairman, a branch chair, or a provincial chair in the US. We do have a national chair, and he is responsible for party disputes. Next time when you have anything or anything that you want solved, whether a dispute or an issue you are not happy with, kindly communicate with Senator Morgan Committee. He is currently our national chair in the MDC. I'm answering to the issues you have asked me to respond to. And I'm saying it's shocking, and I'm concerned when a chair, a branch chair, does not know that there's a national chair who is responsible for party disputes. I worry. I am concerned. Now, talking the issue of money, you are very junior to Dr. Khuphe. Dr. Khuphe, as acting president, did right. And I say this, I like to talk facts. He wrote a public letter addressed to the police, addressed to the party leadership, and he clearly mentioned that no money was missing in the party. Everything was under control and was in order. From Dr. Khuphe, I'm talking about a letter written by Dr. Khuphe in her capacity as president of the party. She wrote that letter on the 22nd of December.
But you're mixing things here somewhere, man.
Let me continue.
That was with regards to the 300. That was with regards to the 300,000. It was. But I can't allow you to continue with lies. That was with regards to the 300,000. I am talking about the 6 million. Can you address the 6 million?
I need to address that.
Yes.
The Secretary General of the party is the chief executive of the organization. He organizes Congress. He has every right to use the money for Congress purposes and use it to carry deliver, deploy, or use it where it's necessary. Don't forget that before he became president, he was the Secretary General. You need to understand the role of the Secretary General in the party. He is the one who organizes the Congress administratively. He is the Secretary General of the party. And you as well, during that time, when you were a branch chair, anyway, a branch chair, well, we do an elected chair because there are about 6-10 people in the USA. I'm sorry to say this, Dan Moyo. I'm not going to say this on a public platform because I do respect you as a party cadre. I might have to engage you privately. But in conclusion, and this is a brotherly advice, bitterness will never win this war. You are bitter because your favorite candidate lost. The right thing is when your candidate loses, calm down, keep calm, keep cool until the grieving process is over. The more you make noise, the more people ask your intelligence or question your intelligence. Start preparing for National Congress if you want your candidate to win. EOC is done and it will not happen again. However, if you have any query, I encourage you to speak to the national chair. For now, you have failed me and you have failed a lot of MDC-T cadres. And even without putting around the bush and so on, opinion polls, even before Congress was on, Mwonzora was the darling of the party. The truth of the matter is that you wanted to manipulate the vote, hoping that a candidate who was not popular might win because you have a preference. But let's learn to work together. If Dr. Khuphe wins, she's my president. If Dr. Mwonzora wins, he is my president. Senator, the Congress is over. My slogan every day, and I don't go to social media these days to attack or talk politics and so on, because I recognize all the elected leaders are my leaders, including yourself. You are my leader as well.
Okay, point of correction. Point of correction, Mr. Sangwem. I am bitter
now,
because because the party lost.
Before you said that, you mentioned about the 6 million that was used during Congress, and you said Chief Ndlovu has not received that money. I just want to ask you a question. He should receive that money in his capacity as party treasurer, or who? Why should the money be given to Chief Ndlovu, the 6 million you are talking about, when we have a party treasurer elected by the president?
The president has
Why
no
should
powers.
the money? I have a feeling there's a criminal intent that you are not telling me. Why do you want the money to be returned to Chief Ndlovu? And
Okay,
did he tell you that he wants the money returned to him? Why do you want the money returned to him?
Okay, Chairman Den, can I answer Mr. Songweme?
Go ahead.
Chairman Den has said the constitution of the MDC does not allow for the appointment of a treasurer general. So I think it's a fair question.
No, he is not. That point is misleading. There was an amendment made in 2014. The MDC did change its constitution. It gave president more powers to appoint a number of leaders. Having said that, it's neither here nor there. He might be right, he might be correct. He should raise these issues through the party channels, not through the media. If he does not want Mashakada to be appointed as party treasurer, the president then has powers to appoint him. He can simply say, Mashakada, you are the deputy treasurer, and he takes control of the money. That's not a fact. I mean, it's irrelevant, to be honest. It's irrelevant. Okay. I mean,
but you are not answering the questions that you are being presented.
He can work. The president can wake up tomorrow and say, Hambako is the deputy treasurer, and I've given him the money you want. I'm just asking you a simple question. Why do you want the money to be given back to Chief Ndlovu when the president calls the shots? There is something sinister.
Okay, I think you're not answering the substantive question.
No, I want
Chairman Den. Chairman Den, let me answer for you, Chairman Den. Mr. Songweme is not answering the substantive questions. Is the constitution of the MDC-T allowing the appointment of a second vice president? That's a substantive question that you haven't answered.
I wouldn't want to answer on issues I don't know, but as far as I know, the National Council rectified that person. But don't quote me. I do not know about the issue of the appointment of the vice president. I would like to consult on that and answer you when I'm very sure of the correct position.
I can help you, Mr. Sangweme. The constitution is very clear. One, we only have one vice president in the party. We don't have two vice presidents constitutionally. I know there was an attempt at the last National Council meeting to sneak in some amendment to the constitution. That is illegal on its own, because the only body that can amend the constitution is Congress. And we have not had Congress. The extraordinary Congress was there for simple one purpose, and that purpose was to elect a new president. It had nothing to do with constitutional amendments, which they tried to sneak into that NC that we objected to. And we are still objecting to that. There were a lot of unconstitutional shenanigans that occurred at that National Council. And when we are raising them, we are attacked. We are told we are not using the right channels. Yet we were in the National Council debating these issues, pointing out exactly what the Constitution says with regards to such issues. Let me correct you what happened in 2014 with the amendment. The amendment to the Constitution in 2014 gave the president powers to appoint deputies in the standing committee. It never gave the president powers to appoint substantive leaders of portfolios in the standing committee. Those are a purview of the Congress to elect. Those 12 members of the standing committee, besides the Secretary for Elections and then those other secretaries, are a purview of Congress. We are breaking the party's constitution, we are violating it, and some of you, as learned as you are allowing that to happen for expediency. We, the unlearned ones, are saying now to you, we are not going to allow that to happen. We are not going to let you destroy the party because you're going to use flowery language, linguistic, legal language to try and hoodwink the people to think that what you are doing is above board. That is not correct. That is not right. And that is what we're fighting here.
Okay.
Okay.
No,
I think we've taken a long time. So let's wrap this up. Mr. Sangweme, this is your very last opportunity.
Okay. I just want to wrap this up. I just want to tell Den Moyo to avoid causing unnecessary tension within the party. I wish he focuses on engaging. He has some contents that I agree with him, but he needs to speak to the leadership. It will help us, because our rivals and our enemies will take advantage of this and start, preaching divisions or talking about divisions which are not even there. I know very well that President Mwonzora and Dr. Khuphe are very good friends. I've wined and dined with them both. They are very good friends and they talk almost every day. My president does check Dr. Khuphe almost every week. Since she was bedridden until now, when she has recovered, they do speak. They engage each other in private. They are good leaders. They work well. If there are mistakes, they speak together and they try and correct and find each other. What Moyo is doing is to try and cause divisions, or to try. He's just not accepting that Mwonzora is the new president because he had a preferred candidate, and it's not healthy for the party. It destroys the party more. I wish we can engage, me and him or other party members who have issues or queries, they can engage in private. I do have a lot of concern with other leaders. I have my sentiments over Moyo, over Chief, over Pugeneson. I will never go to the media to talk about a colleague. I don't do that.
Okay, I want to ask Chairman Den, for me to bring you here, you have already issued statements to the Daily News, to Newsday, to a lot of other organizations. Do you take the point that is being made by Mr. Sangweme that you are taking the wrong route in your approach?
No, I do not take that point, because remember, I stated categorically that in the National Council meeting on February 6th, we raised these issues, and they blatantly refused. National Chairman Morgan Committee was chairing that meeting. Senator Douglas Mwonzora was in that meeting. Dr. Khuphe was obviously not in that meeting because she's been bedridden. All the leaders, National Council members, were in that meeting. We raised these issues and they were ignored. So you tell me that if we raise issues and they are blatantly ignored, they fall on deaf ears, what other avenue is left for us to let the truth be known that the party now is being run by corrupt individuals who do not want to adhere to the party constitution? We, as members in good standing, who have supported this party for many, many years, and many people have died supporting this party, need to know the truth. And we find it our duty to educate our people who don't read the constitution, because that is where the problem starts. Our members just follow whatever is being said like lemmings falling over a cliff. They need to learn to stand up and say wrong is wrong. If something is against the constitution, is a violation of our constitution, we should stand up. I'm glad Mr. Sangweme raised the issue of Donald Trump here in the USA. Right now, as we are speaking, the Senate is sitting to debate if Trump should be convicted. That's because the constitution of the USA is strong enough to say there is no man who is above the party, who's above the constitution. It doesn't matter whether Trump was the president. It doesn't matter that he's a billionaire. If he breaks the constitution, it is the people's right to challenge that. And that is exactly what we're doing.
Mr. Sangweme, are you going to be able to talk to the MDC-T president, Senator Mwonzora, to give the USA a platform? Because they are saying they're not being given a platform. Chaponda is saying he was chased from the National Council.
They should follow proper channels. Look, I'm not Dr. Mwonzora's spokesperson. Well, I'm used to Dr. He is now my president. I apologize. I'm not the spokesperson to His Excellence. He's more like a brother to me, yes. But if they use proper channels, I know Mkomadagi, my president, not a single day. He's a very humble person. You will attend. He's a listening president. I know him. Dan Moyo, if you want to talk to the president, engage me privately. My president is a listening person. He will talk to you.
I talk to Senator Mwonzora all the time. I have his number on speed dial. I have stayed at his house. When I came for Morgan Tsvangirai's funeral, a whole week I stayed at Senator Mwonzora's house. He knows exactly he's not my enemy. And I've said this to him several times. I said, Nkomadaki, listen, if you had done things properly, I will be the first one in line to congratulate you. Let's agree that things were not done properly and let's fix the problems. To me, it's about process, my brother. It's not about individuals. This whole thing has nothing to do with Nkomadaki as a person. And he will tell you that himself. He hosted me at his house. I know his family, his children. I stayed there. I talked to him. We debate these very issues we are talking about. We debate over WhatsApp.
So Chairman Den, so why not take the suggestion from Mr. Sangweme? Because you guys seem to be talking and we can't finish this discussion here. Are you going to take the route that is suggested by Mr. Sangweme?
It is out of frustration, my brother. If the National Council is not going to listen to our concerns, the National Council is the highest decision-making body in between Congresses. If it is not going to address our concerns where all the leadership is there, then where should we take our grievances to besides the public opinion? Right now, this is why we're here, because had they listened to us and said, okay, guys, let's address this and this is how we're going to go about it, I wouldn't have written that statement and made it public.
Okay, let's
so
wrap this up.
You are looking, okay, I just want to, Dan, so you are looking for public sympathy. You are frustrated and you are looking for public
This is a people's party. This is a public party. It's a people's party, and the people need to know what's happening in the cockpit. The people need to understand the kind of leadership that is now in charge of the party. You sit here and tell me that the leadership is a listening ear. Obvious, yes, of course. When I'm having a beer with Senator Mwonzora, we listen to each other. But here we're talking about the party. We're talking about the only people's hope that they have of ever removing ZANU-PF from power. How is that going to happen when the party cannot adhere to its own constitution? The people are being duped because most people right now think that everything that's being done is done above board. And we're pointing out to them that it is not. The constitution is being violated.
Okay. That's the beauty of democracy. Sorry, that's the beauty of democracy. You have every right to point out the wrongs. But this is where I have a problem, and I'm going to mention this. I want you to understand one. When a decision or when something happened, the Congress was not conducted by President Mwonzora.
You just said yourself, you organized it.
Can I kindly finish, then you talk as well? Give me a chance. MDC leadership is there. It's a collective. If we work as a team and the goalkeeper makes an error or the striker and so on, let's blame the team. Let's blame Manchester and let's blame us, and let's not point individuals. The Congress was organized by MDC-T. It was not organized by President Mwonzora. It just happens that President Mwonzora is the Secretary General of the party. It was an MDC-T EOC. The morning of the Congress, journalists asked Dr. Khuphe if everything was okay, and she said that she was very happy and she was extremely impressed with what was happening. I'm quoting Dr. Khuphe, the president of the party, the morning before the Congress. Now, you said you were in Harare as a leader because there was a Congress happening. So you are also a collective. You are part of that decision-making process. You are a leader as well. Let's not point fingers at individual when something does not go our own way. We had 4 candidates and 1 candidate had to win. You were still going to say the same if Mwonzora had won, and you were going to say the same if Komichi had won. I know very well you were supporting Dr. Khuphe, and regrettably, it did not turn the way you want. I was supporting President Mwonzora. If President Mwonzora had lost, I would have congratulated Dr. Khuphe. That's what I would have loved, and that's what I still want for the MDC. I don't know, but think about it. Think twice. Whether you are helping the party or you are causing more damage to the party, just go think about it. It's your own decision.
That's the same thing Chamisa told me when he was usurping power. He told me to just accept because the people, he has the mandate, he's speaking on behalf of the people. But I am saying I would rather remain with a few individuals who stand for the truth, who do not kowtow to such blatant violation of the party constitution. That you cannot sit there, Mr. Saungeme, and tell me that that extraordinary Congress was done par excellence. There was violence there. I even told you one of the contenders was slapped. The other one left. Mr. Mzuri left before the Congress was even concluded because he could not stand the chaos. And then you have the audacity to tell the people that everything was kosher, that they should just accept it, they should not question it. Yes, you're going to have the yes men, maybe people who are clawing for positions, as people are being recalled, that they can be then put in parliament, or people who are thinking that they get positions out of this thing. We're not like that at all. We call it like it is. Had it been Dr. Khuphe who had won in that shambolic EOC, will probably be having this conversation today, because we're not going to accept it.
I was going to accept it, but let me remind you this. 3 weeks before the National Congress, there was a shambolic nomination in Bulawayo where Dr. Khuphe won. She got about 117 votes, but 200 votes, but 45 people vote. About 45 people voted, and she got 114 votes in Blawayo nominations, and she was declared the winner. We never quitted that. The point I'm trying to make is this. If the nomination in Blawayo had been won by Mwonzora, you would have made noise again. You are just, and I'm sorry to say this, I don't like to use words like this, but I want the people to know, I want MDC family to know that you are a bitter party cadre.
Yes, I am bitter for the party,
You
but
are
not for
very
an individual.
bitter, yes.
Not for the
Yes.
individual. As long as the party constitution, which I consider to be a sacrosanct document, is not followed, yes, we are going to have this conversation, Mr. Sangweme. This is just the beginning. And until such time that we respect the party constitution and we adhere to it verbatim in the true intent and spirit of that document, you and I are going to have these conversations, because I refuse to kowtow to unconstitutionalism. I refuse. The reason I joined this party was because of that document, because it is one of the best written constitutions I've ever come across, and I've read quite a few. And for it to be bastardized the way that it has been, and for me to stand and be proud as a member of that organization when that is happening, it's not going to happen.
Okay, so you know what? I suggest let's end it here today. I know that a lot of good points have been made from both sides, and I hope that you'll be able to meet and talk outside of the public. I agree with Mr. Songwemi that it's probably not the right platform to have a detailed discussion. However, I'm going to be having Pugeni here on Saturday, and he speaks for Dr. Khuphe. So this matter is going to be brought to rest on Saturday, same time, 9 p.m. Mr. Songweme, are you going to be able to come and join us when I talk to Pugeni?
I'll engage Pugen privately first, but I'm not, I don't like media attention. It causes unnecessary attention for the party. But depending on the subject, I'll consider my options, yes. Having said
but
that...
we want to hear what Dr. Khuphe says.
Oh, yes, that's true, yes. Now, just to wrap it up, I'm glad Den Moyo, my brother, has confirmed the most important issue that concerned me. Dr. Khuphe did not say she does not recognize President Mwonzora as the president of the MDC-T. Am I correct, my brother?
I don't speak for Dr. Khuphe. I, Den Moyo, do not recognize Mwonzora right now, because this is a disputed election. We want that rectified before I can recognize him.
Correct. Den Moyo does not recognize, and we don't know. As far as we know, Dr. Khuphe is currently the MDC-T vice president, and she is my boss. She's my leader. That's a fact. The second fact is the current president of the MDC-T, translated into Shona, Aripanyanga right now, is President Mwonzora. He is the current president. You have every right to dispute that legally or through party channels. We are a democratic organization. We are a constitutional organization. If you feel the constitution has been violated, you are free to consult lawyers. They will probably make a case for you and approach the courts. But as far as I know, we are already thinking about the National Congress. We are done with the EOC, and I'm sorry to say it won't happen in the near future. The EOC won't happen in the near future again. There won't be a repeat of the EOC. I want to share with you ideas of how best we can run the National Congress and so on and see. You are very vocal person. I like you. I would like to campaign for you somehow. Maybe as a party spokesperson and so on. I like your resilience. You are a very nice person. I just want to privately talk to you about anger management and bitterness, but that's for another day, Dan.
Thank you for the compliments, my brother. And I know that you are also deep down in your heart, you're a good person, you're a legal mind. So you know very well when the law is being broken. Unfortunately, for expediency here, you are accepting the Constitution to be violated, even though you know very well that it is being violated. So I am saying to you, my brother to brother, if we're going to build this party and make it the strong party that it was during Save's days, then let's abide by our constitution. A lot of Zimbabweans liked what the MDC used to stand for, but they don't anymore because they see all these shenanigans, and we are all now being painted with the same brush. We are now being looked upon as those guys who just accept their constitution to be violated. We are now being looked upon as being corrupt. And I refuse to be put in that basket. And I hope you'll do the same and stand for what is right, even if it's unpopular.
Okay. Thank you very much, gents. I know we can go, as I said, for the whole night, and we'll never come to the end because I see that the positions are so entrenched. One side believes they are right, and the other side believes they are right. So I suggest you have a chat privately, and when I meet with Pugeni on Saturday, we have a proper final position on this topic.
Okay.
Okay. So, Mr. Den Moyo, thank you very much for joining us. Mr. Sangweme, thank you for coming without any notice. Is there anything else you want to say before we close?
No, I just came to. Oh, sorry, Dan. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, I'm not a public figure. I just called you because I didn't like the fact that my leader Den Moyo was trying to mislead the public. I wouldn't say he was talking lies and so on. It was myth. It's an unnecessary myth, really. He was trying to mislead the public. But from what I know, Den Moyo. Okay, let me be very honest. What Den Moyo is hoping to achieve, if you allow me, traditionally in the MDC or ZANU-PF, we have always have a senior political leader from the Matabeleland region. So Dan is trying to be, he's positioning, sorry to say this, Dan is positioning himself to be the future VP or to take over Dr. Khuphe's position when she finally retires. And she can only do that by being the voice of reason for a certain region. That is what he's trying to do. It's not like he's being sympathetic to Dr. Khuphe. He is marketing himself. I've been very honest with you. Sorry to say that, but Dan is a clever guy. He's marketing himself. That's what he's hoping to achieve. He has lots of respect for President Mwonzora, and he knows that President Mwonzora won this thing. He is putting some marks on. Politics, I know how these games are. You make noise, you become popular, etc. He's marketing himself. That's what I want the public to know.
Mr. I have not stated in any platform, even within the MDC-T, I have not asked for a position in the national standing committee or in the national executive. That is so far from the truth, Mr. Sangweme. The truth of the matter is, I am that kind of person who, when he dedicates his life to something, I make sure that I stand by that thing with all my being. I chose to join the MDC-T. I was fortunate enough to have been elected to a position of chairman in the USA, and I have held that position. I have fought ZANU-PF very hard on that position, but I always introspect and look at where we stand as a party. We can never win this battle against ZANU-PF if we allow for such to happen in our party. We need to be honest with each other. This party here prides itself for being the party of excellence. Let's show that excellence, please. Let's not do things for expediency's sake. I know you said you supported Honorable Mwonzora. I can share you texts with me and him where I told him.
Correction is not honorable now. He is President Mwonzora.
To you he is, but to me he's disputed, and therefore it's very hard for me to call him that. So please understand, until such time that we rectify that issue, he'll always remain Mkomatagi, Senator Mwonzora, so on and so forth. So,
how do you hope to rectify that, my leader? How do you hope to rectify that? I forgot to ask that question. You're raising an interesting. How do you hope to rectify? By making noise, or you're gonna do something about it?
Oh no, we're willing to sit down and talk. Let's agree that that EOC was a sham. If we agree that it was a sham, and we say, okay, now what is the way forward? Who should continue now? I say, and I repeat it again, we default to where we were prior to the EOC. We make sure we have an ordinary Congress ASAP, even if it means within a month or two. There is the political funding money that comes in. Recently, there was like 2 million. Stop abusing that money and let's put it towards that so that we fix the party first. This business of money is being diverted by people because they are in power should stop. It should stop.
Okay, I think I'm sorry, gents. We have to really have to end this.
Let me correct him one more last thing. EOC was never a shame. It was a success. I listened to one of the best speeches in my lifetime by President Mwonzora during EOC. And immediately after this, he proved to me that he is the kind of leader the MDC-T has been looking for and has been waiting for. The future is bright. In conclusion, the future is bright under President Mwonzora. You will do whatsoever you do, Ben, but the future is bright. And I want to make noise here. The future is bright under President Mwonzora. The future is bright.
You see the problem
Repeat
with
this
you,
after me, then. Repeat this after me, then. The future is bright.
Paul, the problem with you is that you even lied to yourself. You are telling me that EOC was not shambolic when Dr. Khuphe, who was the acting president, who was part of the team that organized that EOC herself, gave a presser during the EOC that she is suspending Mwonzora because of irregularities on the EOC. That she is suspending. That she is. Then you sit here, my brother. There was violence. There were people who were bloodied with bruises, and you sit here, my friend, calmly and tell me that was the best EOC that could have ever happened, my brother. Stop lying to yourself. Let's talk facts. Just not create situations where we think we're duping people. Nothing was done correctly at that EOC. I can tell you that. I can tell you that I was there when the formal voters' roll was agreed upon when we had Rainbow Towers. I was there. And that constitution, when I talked to the managers, when I talked to the campaign managers, was not the same one that was presented at HICC. So, my brother, for you to sit here and lie to the people straight face, and lie to the people straight face that the EOC was done above board.
Enough time.
That is not fair.
Given you enough time. I've given you all enough time, please.
No. I want to correct that. Remember, Dan, you were in Harare. No. Gamba, give me a point. Remember, Dan, you were in Harare after you self-appointed you appointed yourself spokesperson for Dr. Khuphe. Pugen had issues and you appointed yourself the spokesperson. But you are now telling me that when the 6 million was being taken, you were there. What were you doing and what was your role?
What do you mean? What was I doing? I was there to ensure that such things don't happen. Let me tell you what happened.
In your capacity as who?
As MDC USA Chairman.
There is something sinister. There's something you want to
as MDC USA Chairman. Komichi, Dr. Khuphe, and Chief Lovu and myself, we went to the bank. We asked for a bank statement. They showed us the withdrawals. We asked Chief, who was sitting right there as the Treasurer General, Chief, did you approve this in front of the bank managers? Chief said, no, I did not. Dr. Khuphe and Komichi then wrote a letter right there and there that they signed, barring Mwonzora from having access to releasing funds from that account. And that money, my brother, you were saying it was used for the Congress. It was not. And if you want me to vumburura zvese right here, right now, I will, because I was there.
Okay, I think let's not do it today. As I said, please take the time to have a chat before Saturday, because again, when he comes here, we want Dr. Khuphe's position. So we can say a lot, but the final position, which is what Dr. Khuphe is going to say, is very, very important. So I think let's wrap it up. And I want to thank you very much, Chairman Den Moyo. I think we've lost his picture there. And Mr. Paul Sangweme, I really enjoyed talking to you. We've never had such a long chat. And I think many people have seen you for the first time talking like this. Thank you very much, sir. And thank you very much, Chairman. Sorry, you want to say something?
No, I wanted to say that bitterness will kill Den Moyo. He must accept reality. The EOC is done. Chamisa accepted. I mean, President Mwonzora is not an easy ride. Chamisa tried it. He surrendered. He withdrew from the EOC participation. Den Moyo is a very, I don't know if I'm using the correct word. I like to be polite, but he's a very small boy. You can never win an intelligent and strategic leader like President Mwonzora. He is
okay, thank you very much, sir. Let's see you talking to Pugeni on Saturday. I'm gonna give you a shout before we start. Thank you very much.
I can never debate with Pugeni. We get so along much. He's a leader I respect. He's not rhetoric like Dan Moyo. He's not. He's more focused. Dan is bitter and Pugeni is more focused. That's what I can say.
All right, thank you very much, gents. Good night. And I'm sorry I cannot continue with this discussion. We've just gone for too long. And to all those people who are at home, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again on Saturday when we continue with this topic.
Bye-bye. Thank you.